Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Applied Library. I'm truly grateful that you've chosen to spend this time with us today. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're walking beneath a morning sky, resting quietly at home, commuting through a busy city, or simply seeking a moment of reflection, I invite you to slow down for a while. Take a comfortable breath, and let us journey together into one of the oldest stories humanity has ever preserved. Today we explore a remarkable work, the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is not merely an ancient poem. It is in many ways the first great literary masterpiece known to history. Written over 4,000 years ago in the lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in ancient Mesopotamia, it has survived empires, wars, migrations, and the passing of entire civilizations. Long before the philosophers of Greece, human beings were already asking profound questions. Why do we die? What makes a life meaningful? Can friendship transform us? What remains after we are gone? The Epic of Gilgamesh is humanity's earliest surviving attempt to answer these questions. And perhaps that is why it still speaks to us today. Because beneath its kings, gods, monsters, and distant deserts, it is ultimately a story about being human. So settle in and let us open one of the oldest books in the world. Our story begins in the ancient city of Uruk. Its king is Gilgamesh. He is powerful, magnificent, brilliant. According to the poem, he is 2/3 divine and 1/3 human. He possesses extraordinary strength. No challenge can intimidate him. And yet there is a problem. Gilgamesh has become arrogant. His immense power has separated him from ordinary people. Instead of protecting his citizens, he dominates them. Instead of serving his kingdom, he serves himself. The people of Uruk cry out to the gods. They ask for relief, they ask for balance. And the gods respond in a fascinating way. They do not destroy Gilgamesh. Instead, they create someone capable of standing beside him. Someone who can challenge him, someone who can become his equal. His name is Enkidu. Enkidu is unlike anyone in the city. He lives among animals. He drinks from streams. He knows nothing of kings, laws, wealth, or civilization. He belongs to nature. At first glance, Enkidu appears primitive. Yet the poem invites us to question that assumption. Who is truly civilized? The king who abuses power, or the wild man who lives in harmony with the world around him? This tension remains surprisingly modern. Even today, many people wonder whether progress has made us wiser, whether our technologies have brought us closer to ourselves, or further away. Eventually, Enkidu leaves the wilderness and enters human society. He learns language, customs, relationships, responsibility, and soon he hears about Gilgamesh, the mighty king, the tyrant, the man nobody can oppose. Enkidu decides to confront him. The stage is set. Two extraordinary beings moving toward a collision that will change both their lives forever. When Gilgamesh and Enkidu finally meet, they fight. The battle is fierce. Neither man yields easily. Strength clashes against strength. Pride against pride. Will against will. Yet something remarkable happens. Instead of becoming enemies, they become friends. Deep friends. Brothers in spirit. Perhaps this is one of the poem's most beautiful insights. Sometimes the people who transform our lives are not those who agree with us. They are those who challenge us, those who reveal our blind spots, those who force us to grow. Before Enkidu, Gilgamesh was trapped inside his own greatness. After Enkidu, he begins to become human. Friendship becomes his teacher, and through friendship, he learns humility. Many listeners may recognize this truth. Think of the people who changed your life, the mentor who challenged you, the friend who told you what you needed to hear, the companion who stood beside you during difficult times. Rarely do we grow entirely alone. The Epic of Gilgamesh understood this thousands of years ago. Transformation often arrives through relationship. Together, Gilgamesh and Enkidu seek adventure. They journey to the Cedar forest, a sacred realm guarded by the fearsome monster Humbaba. The journey is dangerous. The risks are enormous. Even Gilgamesh feels fear. And here we encounter another timeless lesson. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite fear. Again and again, Gilgamesh hesitates. Again and again, Enkidu encourages him. The two companions support one another through uncertainty. Eventually, they confront Humbaba. The battle is fierce and dramatic, and together they succeed. The guardian falls. The heroes return victorious. Their fame spreads across the land. They have achieved something extraordinary. Yet victory contains a hidden danger. Success often feeds the ego. An ego can become the seed of future suffering. Ancient stories understood this well. The challenge is not merely achieving greatness. The challenge is remaining grounded after achieving it. After his victories, Gilgamesh attracts the attention of the goddess Ishtar. She offers him love, power, status. But Gilgamesh refuses harshly. He reminds her of previous lovers whom she treated poorly. The rejection humiliates her. Enraged, Ishtar seeks revenge. She asks the gods to unleash the bull of heaven upon the earth. The creature brings devastation. Fields are destroyed. People suffer. Chaos spreads. Once again, Gilgamesh and Enkidu confront danger together, and once again they prevail. The bull of heaven falls. The heroes celebrate, but their actions have consequences. The gods determine that balance has been disturbed. A price must be paid, and that price will change everything. Enkidu becomes ill. At first there is hope. Perhaps he will recover. But slowly the truth emerges. He is dying. For the first time, Gilgamesh faces something his strength cannot overcome. No sword can defeat it. No courage can conquer it. No power can negotiate with it. Death has entered the story, and death refuses compromise. Enkidu dies. The poem's emotional tone shifts completely. The triumphant hero becomes a grieving friend. Gilgamesh is devastated. He cannot accept what has happened. He mourns endlessly. He speaks to Enkidu's body as though his friend might still hear him. Anyone who has lost someone they love understands this moment. The disbelief, the ache, the strange feeling that reality itself has changed. Grief is one of the most universal human experiences, and remarkably, one of the oldest surviving literary texts captures it with extraordinary sensitivity. Across 4,000 years, Gilgamesh's sorrow still feels familiar, because human hearts have not changed as much as civilizations have. But something deeper is happening. Gilgamesh is not grieving only for Enkidu. He is grieving for himself. For the first time, he understands that if Enkidu can die, so can he. The death of his friend becomes a mirror, and in that mirror he sees his own mortality. Many of us encounter this realization eventually, perhaps through the loss of a parent, a friend, a loved one. Suddenly, death is no longer an abstract idea. It becomes personal, real, immediate. Gilgamesh becomes obsessed with escaping this fate. He cannot accept that life ends. He cannot accept that all achievements eventually fade. So he embarks on a new quest, not for glory, but for immortality. Gilgamesh travels farther than any human has gone, across deserts, through darkness, beyond the edges of the known world. His destination is the home of Utnapishtim, a man who survived a great flood and was granted eternal life by the gods. Many scholars recognize fascinating parallels between this flood story and later flood narratives found in various traditions. Yet the deeper significance lies elsewhere. Gilgamesh believes Utnapishtim possesses the secret he desperately seeks. The secret to overcoming death. The secret to living forever. And so he continues, driven by the oldest human desire of all, to escape the inevitable. When Gilgamesh finally reaches Utnapishtim, he expects revelation, a path to immortality. Instead, he receives wisdom, and wisdom is often more difficult than magic. Utnapishtim explains that death is part of the human condition. The gods reserved immortality for themselves. Human beings must live within limits. This is not what Gilgamesh wants to hear. It is not what most people want to hear. We spend enormous energy resisting limits, resisting aging, resisting uncertainty, resisting change. Yet life continually reminds us that impermanence is woven into existence. Everything changes. The question is not how to avoid this reality. The question is how to live meaningfully within it. This is the lesson Gilgamesh slowly begins to understand. Before departing, Gilgamesh learns of a mysterious plant capable of restoring youth. At last, hope returns. He retrieves it from the depths. He possesses the treasure he has sought, or so he believes. But during his journey home, while resting beside a pool, a serpent steals the plant and disappears. The opportunity is lost forever. At first glance, this moment seems tragic. After all his efforts, he ends empty-handed. Yet perhaps the poem is suggesting something deeper. Many of us spend years chasing a future condition that we believe will finally complete us. More money, more success, more certainty. We tell ourselves that happiness waits somewhere ahead. But often the pursuit itself blinds us to what is already present. Gilgamesh loses the plant. Yet he gains understanding, and that understanding proves far more valuable. Gilgamesh returns to Uruk, but he is no longer the same man. The arrogant king who began the story has disappeared. The grief-stricken wanderer has also changed. Now he sees differently. He looks upon the city's walls, the walls he once regarded as symbols of power. And now he recognizes them as symbols of contribution. Human beings may not live forever, but their actions, their kindness, their wisdom, their creations can endure. In a sense, the poem suggests that meaning is humanity's answer to mortality. Not immortality. Meaning. We cannot stop time, but we can participate in something larger than ourselves. We can leave traces of goodness. We can help shape lives. It is astonishing that a story written thousands of years ago remains so relevant. But perhaps that should not surprise us. Technology changes rapidly. Civilizations rise and fall. Languages evolve. Yet the essential questions remain. How do we become better human beings? The Epic of Gilgamesh does not provide simple answers. Instead, it offers companionship. It reminds us that human beings have wrestled with these questions for millennia. We are not alone in our search for meaning. Across 4,000 years, Gilgamesh reaches toward us. And perhaps we reach back, recognizing ourselves in his journey, our own longing to understand what it means to live well. As we close this exploration of the Epic of Gilgamesh, perhaps the greatest lesson is surprisingly simple. Life becomes meaningful not because it lasts forever. Life becomes meaningful precisely because it does not. The awareness of mortality invites us to love more deeply, to pay attention more carefully, to appreciate the ordinary moments that so often pass unnoticed. Gilgamesh began his journey seeking immortality. He ended it discovering humanity. And perhaps that is the greater achievement. Not escaping death, but learning how to live, learning how to love, learning how to accept the precious and fleeting gift of existence. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of humanity's oldest stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to Applied Library, leaving a like, and sharing this reflection with someone who loves timeless wisdom and great literature. And I'd love to hear from you. What part of Gilgamesh's journey resonated most deeply with your own life? The search for meaning? Or the acceptance of life's impermanence? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep reading, keep reflecting, and keep discovering the wisdom hidden within the world's greatest books. Take care, dear friends, and thank you for being part of the Applied Library community.